Welcome to Podcast of All Podcasts. Enjoy best moments of podcast history. Sturgill Simpson and John Pine perform Paradise.
When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a backwards old town that's often remembered so many times that my memories are worn. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where Paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train just hauled it away. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Adria Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistol, but empty pop bottles was all that we killed. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where Paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train just hauled it away. And then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, where they tortured the timber and they stripped all the land. They dug for their coal till the land was forsaken, and then they wrote it all down as a progress of man. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where Paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train just hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with Paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where Paradise lay. I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal trains hauled it away. Mr. Peabody's coal trains hauled it away. Mr. Peabody's coal trains hauled it away.
Hi, it's Elle King. Subscribe to the Grammy channel.
Marc Maron with Donald Glover.
My brother and my
Yeah.
sister,
Yeah.
we're all biological, and then we adopted a brother and a sister.
Right.
And we have another girl, but like she wasn't adopted, but she had been with us forever. Like
Like a stray?
Yeah. Well, they call foster kids, but
okay.
you know what? Yeah, pretty much a stray.
You made it sound like, well, she showed up at the house, we started feeding her. And
That's not that different. My mom loves doing that. Like she can't say
Yeah.
no. She can't say no
Yeah.
to kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
she
you
does.
ended up with a household, and you had a daycare,
Yeah, there was a daycare in the garage, so there's like 13 kids. You know,
like a legal daycare, or just?
I mean, like, it was illegal for a while, then she got permits and stuff like that, and then my cousins would come over and feed them. Just, like, kids of every type, every color, every type, you know, kids, every fucked up background you can think of.
Well, how did were a lot of them troubled kids or were?
I mean, like troubled kids. We had kids with HIV when like no one knew what HIV was.
Really?
Yeah.
And your mom was she connected to the state, so they would, she was like in a sense that they would find her and she would volunteer to have these kids take care of them.
Well, my parents were like the head of the foster parent association for a while.
Okay.
So they got like the special cases, like they like if a kid like when we had a girl who a little girl who's like her father was in a drug game and like the gang just came in and just killed her mom and dad in front of her.
Oh my God.
And it was like all over the news and stuff. And like that night it was like, and then
here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah, good
like
luck
it was
with
like,
everything.
yeah, it was the big cases usually came to us. So I saw a lot of fucked up shit.
Wow. So what was now? How old were you when that was going on?
I was about, I guess, like 8 to like 14, 15.
So were you part of the caregiving thing? I guess you couldn't help it. I mean, you're playing.
I was,
with the
but
kids.
I gotta be honest, I did not want to be. Like it's hard as a kid. I feel like to like not be selfish.
It's hard as a grown up. Are you kidding?
And I mean, and I've talked about this before. Like we were Jehovah's Witness. We were raised Jehovah's Witness.
You were Jehovah's Witnesses too?
Yeah.
So you had to make those rounds?
Yeah, I was not.
You didn't have to go out with the watchtowers and.
My mom does that now. She found religion
no.
again. So my little brothers and sisters are like, help us.
Oh no!
So
they're trekking around, knocking on doors.
Knocking on doors.
Hi, can we talk to you a few minutes? But isn't that like there's no dancing and shit too, right?
It's a bunch of shit you can't do. You can't watch boxing. You can't watch really anything worldly. Is the worldly you can't really do. It's an evil place.
Really?
Yeah.
And you grew up with that?
Yeah.
But so you grew up in a house where you couldn't watch boxing, you couldn't dance, you couldn't do anything fun.
You can't.
So
you
were no girlfriends.
No girlfriends.
So you were just distracted. You just had a house full of kids that was constantly shit and feeding and crying and breaking up fights and
comedy.
Trying to find one.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the way it works. When people say don't do it, that's what you start to do. I wasn't around to watch The Simpsons, so I recorded every Simpsons episode. I had a talk voice, so I would audio record it and listen to it in my bed. And like everything my mom told me not to do, I ended up doing.
So you couldn't watch them, so you actually you would listen to them.
I would listen to them.
Where did you record them? When she wasn't watching?
I would turn on the TV and make it really low when she was upstairs, and then put the microphone up to it and just leave it there. And then I'd be like doing homework, and she'd be like, "Oh, he's doing homework," when actually I was recording The Simpsons. And then
how old were you when that was happening?
I guess I was like, I don't know, like 10, maybe 9.
And now what was the trajectory that carried you, like when you graduated high school? I mean, when did you start realizing that you were gonna manifest your talents?
I went to performing arts high school. My parents really wanted me.
So that's not Jehovah's Witnesses.
Here's the thing, like my parents weren't good Jehovah's Witnesses until lately.
Right.
Like I think kids make it really hard to be religious.
Right.
Because you don't really.
You got to deal with them going, why?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because it really does fuck up a lot of things.
Yeah.
Including marriages in general. But I guess
your folks are still married though, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for a while it didn't look like they were going to be.
but soldiered through.
They soldiered through. I mean, like, I think there's a certain point where you find love again, but then for a while, I think, like, there's a lull in every marriage or relationship where you're like, let's just stay together because it's a lot easier.
Yeah. No, I find that happens with anybody. It seems monogamy is, like, relatively difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what if you grow different? What if you get tired of each other? I mean, I've been through 2 marriages, but one where I got tired of somebody, and then the other where she got tired of me.
Do you think people are? Have you probably been asked this before? But do you think people are supposed to be together?
Well, I don't know if they're supposed to be. It's just like there's something about commitment and loyalty and trust, and that if you can, the real problem with it in the long run is it's like eventually you'll get to a point and you'll go, Jesus, man, life is short. Is this what I want for the rest of it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sad part. I mean, when you're younger, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, we'll hang out, and maybe.
Right.
But at some point, if you get to that place where you're like, oh no, like this is the way this is going to go.
Right.
It doesn't look like it's going to change much one way or the other, and I don't want to, I don't have much life. So I want to live. But a lot of people don't get to that point because they're like, feed the kid. Where is he? What time where do we got to be at 9?
Well, your life is about something else when you have a kid. That's why, I mean, like, I rap about it a lot and I joke about it because, like, I just don't, I saw every type of, like, I saw 16-year-olds have kids and it just ruins everything. Like, I'm not against kids. I'm just like, it just like your kids are not about like it ruined my parents' marriage for a little bit. It's just like because you're worried about other shit,
right?
Like, it's just like you got to worry about these kids, and like I don't like that's my biggest fear is getting.
Did you have you didn't have any siblings that got pregnant young?
Oh no, thank God.
But
I think we're all like terrified.
In the foster kids and everything else.
Yeah, we like all our foster kids, like all their parents are like 5 years older than, like that's it.
So that was a good lesson to learn.
No, I learned that real quick. It was
Kids
like,
will fuck
condoms,
up your life.
They will fuck up everything. They're the worst. They are. They just fuck up everything, man.
So that's the one thing you brought out of being brought up in a daycare / foster home was that use condoms.
Yeah, immediately. Like, if you really want to get your kid to be like safe and not have sex and shit like that, bring them to a foster home. Bring them to a foster home. Like seriously, kids are awful. We had kids, weird ideas. Yeah. That I'm just like, what happened to you? I had a kid one night. There was one night a kid came in and he was just like there for like a night and he just like we were laying there and like in the bunk beds and he goes, hey. I was like, what? He was like, let's rub butts. And I'm like, I don't know, 6, and I just didn't know what that meant. Like, it's just like it wasn't like a scared thing, where you're just like, as a kid, your brain is so open to new ideas because everything seems fucked up at that point. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, the sun comes out every day. Okay, that's a new idea, but whatever. And I was just like, I don't know what that means. He's like, yeah, let's rub butts. And I found out later, I was like, oh, he was molested. That's why he did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, but like at the time, you're just like, okay,
He just thought that was a way to communicate.
Yeah, that was just something you did at night.
Oh, you rub butts.
You rub butts and communicate at night.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that molester was very inspired either.
I know. I mean, maybe he was like trying to work it up. Maybe they thwarted him before he got to. Yeah,
that's right. Right.
Like, all I did was the butt rub.
Yeah, he was just at phase 1.
Phase 1 of the molesting.
That's horrible. Poor kid.
I know.
So you dealt with the like sexually abused kids and everything, huh?
Man, I saw everything.
When you went to Performance Arts High School, where was that?
That was in Stone Mountain, Georgia. That was in, I guess, like down.
Now, what was the racial breakdown of the area? I mean, was it half and half or what?
It's Atlanta in general is mostly black. I'd say, but it's like
so. It's close to Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Okay. It's a suburb.
The suburbs of Atlanta. Okay. Like the closer
I know
you get
Atlanta. Yeah.
It's like 66% black.
So what was when you went to Performance Art High School in Atlanta? What was it like?
It was mostly
black. Like Fame? It was mostly black.
It was mostly black, which was interesting because it was like in a kind of like a white neighborhood. But like, yeah, it was mostly black. Most of the kids are there. It wasn't like Fame. It was just mostly like a lot of black males having to pretend they're straight. Like that was mostly. I mean, it was the only for interest. It was like, oh, it's good that they have a haven. Because there's nowhere, you can't be black and a male and gay in Atlanta. Anywhere, hardly, but definitely not in Atlanta. Like, it was rough.
Yeah. Well, so they were all, in your mind, they were just closeted and comfortable because they could act the way they felt?
Well,
or they were,
it was just like I think it was like the only place where you could meet another black gay guy.
Oh, shit.
And be okay. Like, it's just like, because the black community in Atlanta is so tied to church.
Right.
That... you can't be gay there. So it's just
right.
like,
where you think that the community was like, well, he seems a little effeminate. Let's get him over.
Get him into porn. No, I think it's usually like I don't know. I feel like that's what, the down low, right?
Yeah.
That's like,
well, I mean, I don't, I know it, but I mean, I'm not living it.
Yeah. Okay, then I don't have any question. I don't have a question.
Right. So the down low plays into
it's
this.
Like huge in Atlanta. Like that's why they have such a high like HIV rate there is because the gay dudes there just don't say they're gay. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm not gay. I just fuck dudes.
Yeah.
And I do it unprotected because it's not gay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different world.
It's a different world.
That's planet fuck dudes.
Yeah. So it's actually good that they're able to go to performance because like at least they're able to say I'm gay. And then they can like take the proper like steps as opposed to like. But I don't think that's why the people push. I think they were just like, oh, he's really good in this play.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's got a talent. Like,
well, what were you doing over there? I mean, was there a point were you ever on the precipice
of that? There was a point where I thought I was gay.
Yeah.
Only because like people kept saying I was. Like I always liked girls. Like I always
right.
I was always like, oh man, I jerked off so much.
Yeah.
To like what was it, White Palace, that movie with Susan Sarandon? Like, oh man, that was my thing in Tony Braxton videos. And I always liked girls, but it was just like I was
Susan
at a school.
Sarandon and Tony Braxton.
That was it. That was
good.
it.
That's good.
Those are good, right?
Yeah.
I still do Susan Sarandon.
Sure.
She's so gorgeous.
I think you might have a shot.
Yeah, she just gets a divorce. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Reach out.
But I did because it was just like if you're. First of all, as a black male, if you like anything that's not like considered like quote unquote like street or hood, like someone's like, what's wrong?
Right.
But also I was like taking ballet because they force you to take ballet in those classes, and like I was just surrounded by other gay dudes. So, and people were just like, oh yeah, you're gay. And also the thing was everybody was okay with it there. Yeah. Everybody was like, it's okay, you're not ready to come out yet. So I was like, maybe I am.
Yeah.
So I like thought about it for a long time. And then, but
no.
I just, no.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Off when, Susan Sarandon.
There you go. But it's very funny that because gay dudes, sometimes, I mean, I don't want to generalize, but if they will say that to you.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're around a lot of them, it's like, oh, you're just waiting.
Yeah.
You're not ready yet. If you need help, let me know. What was the curriculum like?
It was basically the same curriculum instead of like the extracurricular and the like PE, like I guess like physical, they would replace that with dance and whatever else you wanted, like so dance and art.
Were you into it?
I wasn't initially. My parents, I was supposed to go to this gifted school that my parents went, but I couldn't get in because it was already filled. So they were like, we don't want you going to the neighborhood school because it was shitty.
Right.
So you'll go to this one, which was in a better neighborhood. And I didn't like it. And I was getting picked on already, and so, like where I was.
For what?
For being like just people just call me. I was just a weird black kid. Not even a black kid. Like if I was white, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I was black and liked corn.
Yeah.
So kids just like picked on me. It was
really
weird. Yeah. I was just like
black kids.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so that was a situation.
But white kids too.
Yeah.
Like that. I was like, it's just like, what's wrong with you? Kind of
Did
thing.
you ever come up against that situation where black kids were sort of like, why are you acting like that?
Absolutely. That was my whole existence. And like I felt like.
What were the primary outside of corn? What were the other criticisms? Like,
well, just like the obvious, like why do you talk white?
Yeah.
You don't have an accent.
Yeah.
My parents were like that.
Your parents said that to you?
Yeah, my parents got like, what's wrong with you? Eat your chicken. God damn it. My parents are from the north,
right?
So they didn't have a southern accent,
right?
But also they were very, like straight, like they didn't adopt, I guess, what some people consider like the black experience or culture. So they just, talk, I guess, like white, quote unquote. And I was always like, why you talk white? Why do you dress white? I wouldn't have dressed that way, but my parents, they just take you to JCPenney outlet and just be like, this is what you're wearing,
right?
Kind of thing. And we were Jehovah's Witness,
right?
So I wasn't exposed.
Kevin Pollak with Jenna Fischer.
We've been in things where we never actually worked together
until
the grinder.
Potential fiance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was like one of my favorite days ever, getting to be on that show. That show's brilliant, and I'm very upset that it's not on the air anymore. And also, Fred Savage is like, we need to see more of him all the time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's on some new show that's When We Were Teenagers or something.
Friends from College.
There we go.
College.
It's a streaming show, I think. What?
Let's just take a moment for me thinking it was called When We Were Teenagers, and it's actually called Friends from College.
Okay.
I once again missed it by 6 feet.
Yeah, that's what you do, Skylord.
Yeah. I became Homer Simpson like that.
Yeah. I keep a list.
But he's directing his ass off. He's got a deal over at Fox, which is where I ran into him last, and he directed all those. A
lot of Always Sunny.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and a bunch of other things too. He's kicking ass on the directing.
And Mary Elizabeth Ellis was on that show too, and she is like one of the funniest women.
Oh wow!
So
yeah.
I need to say that because it was just it was an awesome experience.
Your next famous question is from Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, okay. What's he gonna ask me?
Who you worked with on, what was the thing that I saw somewhere in the
Brother
research?
Solomon?
That's it.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about doing a magic act?
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
One of the few people who know that because he's known me for so long. Yes, Bob Odenkirk. This is a very interesting story.
That's right.
So back in my struggling actress days, to keep myself sane, I did a silent comedic magic show at comedy clubs.
A comedy magic club down at Hermosa Beach, for example?
No, that was my goal. That was my goal.
Didn't quite get
there. I
Right.
didn't get there because I gave up because I got heckled and it broke me, and I never did my act again. But I did it for like 7 months. It's an amazing act.
You did it?
I did it for 7 months in comedy clubs.
You did it 7 months without being heckled, clearly.
Yes, people loved it. And then one night I got heckled, and it broke. I couldn't take it. Because so here was the thing.
Yes.
My friend did this really funny bit. He did magic tricks using only his hands at a party, and it was a really funny. We were all laughing so hard, and we were like, "Oh my god, that's so funny!" And I'm like, "Dude, that should be a bit. Like,
How
that's
does
funny."
only his hands work?
Do you want me to do one of the tricks for you?
Yes.
Okay, this is not going to be interesting to the people who
camera.
are only.
Do we need to focus on just your hands?
I mean, you can, but I have to.
Yeah, warm up a little.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to pick which one I want to do. All right, here it is. All right, you ready?
Yes.
So obviously, nothing on my sleeves. I don't have any sleeves on, so. Okay, are you ready? Oh, I messed it up. I messed it up. I'm not a very good magician.
It's been a while.
You've got it. Hold on.
It's been a while. You're a little rusty.
Hold on, okay. Thank you very much. And there's more. Okay,
I can't believe you got heckled.
There's 5 more.
I can't believe you did that for 7 months.
I did it for 7 months. You guys, it was very elaborate, but I had a really
Would you have like white gloves on and things?
Oh, I was in a full tuxedo. I got a tuxedo from like a vintage shop. I played music. It was all to music. I had like a sign where I asked somebody like pick a number 1 through 5, and they would write it on a board.
This was pantomime.
Yeah,
no talking.
No talking. And then I would like pull their number out of a lemon. You know, like I would cut open a lemon and then I would like pull it out. You know, it was amazing. It was a really good show.
Pick a number 1 to 5.
Yeah,
and you would
and then I would pull it out of the lemon.
It's kind of nice.
It's clever.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
So it was a big hit, and I learned a lot about how these comedy clubs work, which is like at my level, at the beginner level. Like you get a slot if you show up with a bunch of people, right? Who buy tickets.
So where were you actually performing this?
I don't know, like around West Hollywood and stuff. I'm sure they have names, but
so not actual comedy clubs, or yes, comedy clubs,
Yeah,
like Laugh Factory and Sunset and Crescent Heights. No.
No. What do you do before you get to Laugh Factory? Something.
Busking on the street.
I don't know.
The ha-ha hole. You know,
there's like open mic nights.
Yeah. Open mic nights.
The Ha-Ha Hole is a fictitious comedy
the Ha-Ha
club
Cafe is a
from
real
Swingers.
one.
But there's places that are
open
like
mic night.
that only feature comedians, you know, and then like it's not like I'm gonna do a comedic monologue, I'm gonna do poetry, and I'm gonna play my guitar. It was like all comedy, and there were like really funny people, and then they would get scouted and they would move on. And I wasn't moving on.
Odenkirk knew this about you.
Odenkirk came. He came to see me do my comedic magic show. But then one night, I showed up at a club and I didn't have any guests. So the booker was like, well, you can go at the end if you want. And he put me up second to last. And then, people watch their friend perform and then they leave. So there were like 7 people left. And I walk up and I've got like my boombox and my whiteboard and walking up in my tuxedo, and someone goes, oh great, prop comedy. And I was like, oh. So I sort of like walk up there.
Fatal blow.
Crickets, no one, and then someone like at the end does this.
Single clap.
It was just like
No,
it was
that's
like
a
such
sarcastic clap.
like an
Sarcastic.
aggressive, sarcastic clap.
That's a sarcastic
And I was
clap.
like, okay, I'm just a young girl trying to make it, but thanks. I'll go home and cry now. And then, but you know what? I've saved all of my things since then.
The tuxedo.
In my closet, I have it. Every time I go through my closet, I won't get rid of it.
That's so
I'm
great.
like, I feel like one day I'll dust it off. I still have the cassette tape of the music.
I'm going to book this very venue.
Fill it.
A night in October, and you're going to come do this.
I'd do it.
I'll be on the bill.
I would
We'll
do
fill
it.
out the bill.
I would
How
do
long
it.
is the show?
Oh, it's like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You only get 5 minutes.
Do you want to open it or close it or go on in the middle? Think about it.
I don't know.
All right, next question is from your old pal Bobby Farrelly. Yes, the Hall Pass.
I love Bobby. That sounded so Hollywood of me. I love Bobby,
But everyone loves Bobby.
but I do.
Peter was on the show. We haven't had Bobby yet. Jenna played her part beautifully for us in Hall Pass. She's such a lovely soul. Ask her if she's been back to Spank the Plank at Johnny's Hideaway in Atlanta. We used to go there with her and Christina Applegate on the weekends and dance until our bunions throbbed.
So true.
A lot of fun.
Such good memories. We did. Like one of the things, so doing like a Farrelly Brothers movie is everything you think making a movie is when you're living in Missouri dreaming about doing movies. It's fun the whole time, people are cracking up, it's easygoing, no one's stressed out, and everybody parties together.
Yeah.
Like it's exactly your fantasy of what a movie set is like. Just camaraderie and jokes and like bits and awesomeness.
Yeah.
Pranks, all of it.
Just easy and fun.
Easy and fun.
Yeah.
And those guys are fun. And then it extends and it's everybody. It's not like, oh, just the stars of the movie hang out.
Right.
It's like, you know, go into the Hideaway and like bumping hips with like whoever isn't the boom operator. You know what? It's like whoever wants to hang out gets to hang out.
That movie, that's a fun movie, and it has a really great cast too. Like so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I remember I was surprised how much I really enjoyed it. Whenever I saw it, I like it.
I remember you saying that actually.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I watched it was really good. Hall Pass.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sometimes those movies when you see the trailer look like
it just looked like
typical
another
studio comedy that's not
like super raw.
necessarily.
It looked super raunchy, but it wasn't. Like it was really smart the way they.
Do you know what movie I had that experience with recently? Vacation. The remake of Vacation. I felt like the way they advertised that movie versus seeing the movie, I really liked the movie, but the ad campaign made me think I wouldn't have liked it.
Do you know what my favorite part of that movie is?
What is it?
The deleted scenes.
Oh.
Because you're in one?
I thought it was really good.
Oh, let's talk immediately now,
gloss right over it.
please, about the book.
Yes.
So, how does the book? What's the genesis story? What's the name of the book? How can people find it?
I wrote this book. It's called The Actor's Life: A Survival Guide. And after I got cast on The Office and it was starting to take off, I was getting a lot. I was on MySpace. Remember MySpace, everybody?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
That website? Okay. I would get a lot of questions.
I'm still on it technically.
Are you on? We'll chat on MySpace later.
Is that what we did? We chatted on MySpace?
Did you chat on MySpace?
Yes.
Did you chat on it?
Yes.
Okay. I would put up blog posts and things, and I would get a lot of questions from people saying, like, how'd you get your audition for The Office? Like, how did you do that? As if I had one audition and it was for The Office, and then I got on. But more than that, it was like, how'd you become an actor? Like, tell me your story, because you're on this great show, and I've never heard of you. So how'd that happen?
Right.
So I sat down and I spent about 3 or 4 months writing a blog post kind of about like what it took for me to become an actor,
right,
and to be a working actor, and I posted it, and that blog is still getting handed out to people.
Yes.
Like there's teachers at NYU who print it out and hand it to their students as like, here's a real dose of what it means to be an actor, a working actor.
Yes.
And even like when I go to New York, especially, half the time people stop me on the street, it's to tell me, I read your blog post and thank you so much for all the stuff you said. I sent it to my mom so that she could better understand me and what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
So it was just this, and I thought that blog post should be a whole book.
Yeah.
Because that was like however many paragraphs on it. It was like a pretty long blog post, but like I could fill a book, just the book of that.
And also the amount of interest that came your way from those posts.
Yes. And also, over the years, I go to acting classes or speak to acting students, and I basically just go and I say, ask me any question, and I'll answer it. And then I started tape recording those lectures and had them transcribed, and then I used those things for the books. Because I wanted the book to really be for, and it is a book for aspiring actors or struggling actors or artists.
Survival guide.
Yeah, a survival guide. And of stories that hopefully they can relate to, so that they know that the struggle and everything doesn't mean that they're failing. It just means that they're waiting.
That's part of the process.
That's part of the process.
Yeah,
That's part of the artistic life.
Yeah.
And so the book, I love aspiring actors and artists, and they have so few cheerleaders. So many people just beat you down. and I just wanted to be a different voice for them.
That's
so
pretty
that's who the book is for. But it's also for anybody who's like kind of just curious about what it's really like. And I also think it's a really good book, like if you are an aspiring actor, like make your parents read it so that they aren't as annoying at the holidays.
Make your parents read it, get them off your back.
Exactly. Just be like, yes, getting a second call back for something, but I didn't get the job was a big deal. Stop asking me when you're going to see me on TV.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you're killing my soul right now. You're crushing my life.
And also, yes, I am coming home for Christmas, but you need to read this book before I get there.
That's right. And
This one is Jason Statham.
Chap do a high dive at a hotel I was staying at in Miami, and I thought, fuck it, that looks like a bit of fun, I'll try that. And then joined the club, and within a year, because it's such a small sport, within 1 year I'm on the British team with a tracksuit going, thinking I've got, keys to the kingdom. And then
How high were you in your jump?
Well, it's 10-metre platform. So
what's that in feet? Like
33 feet.
That shit's
How good?
That's the competitive sort of Olympic sport that people do.
You weren't in the Olympics, though.
I know I got third in 3 Olympic trials, which is a bit of a bummer, really, because they send 2 per board, and if you come third, you get fuck all for that.
But it might have changed your life for you. Maybe that's the direction you would have went in, and you wouldn't have been who you are. It's better off you didn't do that, because then you would have been like still fighting to get back. And who wants to dive when you can do what you're doing?
Yeah. I went to the Commonwealth Games. I went to,
I didn't know this. Well, you've been on a lot over the years. See?
Way back. So, I had a fair stint at, keep myself together.
The cliff diving. They used to show that on TV when I was growing up. And they had to time the waves.
Yeah.
You remember that? Where they would have to wait for the wave to come in just so they had enough water when they hit.
Yeah. Even now, Red Bull do they've sponsored this great sort of cliff diving competition, and they do some nutty dives.
What's the height?
It's getting
cliffs,
up
dude.
there to 100 feet. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait,
but it's what they do from that height.
That's Jason right
That's
there?
you?
It's.
Oh, that's you, dude.
We found you on the internet as a diver. I never knew this about you. Look at this.
Take a day off, you two.
Jason Statham.
Fucking good abs.
20 years old, diving in a Speedo. That's how you find it on the internet.
You stay in shape, though. How's your diet, man? Is it awesome?
It comes and goes. It depends. If I'm back home indulging with the people that drink 19 pints a night, it's not much of a diet, is it?
Right. But you're serious. So are you most of the time always in the gym?
Huh?
Are you always in the gym?
I'm always doing something.
Something.
Yeah, I'm doing something to what I do for a living now requires a certain physicality.
Right.
So I may as well do something to keep that going.
Yeah. That's what's up, dude.
This is you diving.
Oh, I got to see you dive.
I just want to see it. We can still talk over it.
Competing in diving at the 1990
We were so stoned. The weed was so good out there.
Oh, man. Damn.
It's like a real dive. It's like a real triple spin.
A lot of splash, though.
Well, they're not. The judges aren't happy with that one.
Because
I'll tell you something.
They just gave you shitty looks.
Shit, they're like, geriatrics.
Wow, that's good.
Did you ever fall on your stomach? That's my greatest fear.
I had a few belly flops, to say the least.
You ever bang your head like Luganis?
I competed against Luganis several times. I never cracked my head on the board like he.
Really? Because he cracked his head.
I mean,
Greg Louganis?
Yeah. He was exceptional. I mean,
he was amazing.
He did a lot for the sport.
But they keep showing when he banged his head. All the stuff he did for diving.
That's the only reason anybody watches diving is you want to see somebody crack their head. It's like anything else. You want to watch an accident.
You want to see the failures.
It's true. You want to see somebody smash their head in
you don't want to see good stuff. You want to see
damn right.
Complete belly.
Why'd you stop doing it?
Huh?
Why'd you stop doing it?
Because it's an amateur sport, and
that was amateur. What the?
I mean, it's
well, you don't. You can't make a lot of money.
Back in the day, I mean, there's not much you can, not much room to for sponsors to put gear all over.
Right. That was, oh, that's right. That was back in the night. That was 1990. That footage we were just watching. How many more years did you do it after that?
I think I was about 28 when I finished.
Wow.
26, 27.
You were there for a minute.
Yeah. But I farted around it. I never. My coach was he's like an accountant, and he'd coach in the evenings. We had no proper coaches, so when we was out in, we'd go to like Russia, and we'd compete against the Chinese. They'd have personal coaches, and they'd have a real infrastructure that could get people to a certain level. And, you know, we were just messing about. I mean, it's just when you relate what we were doing in terms of their training, I mean, it's pathetic. It was a joke.
Yeah.
That we even got, you know, out of the country.
Did you get to go out in Russia? Because Russia is kind of a frightening place. Maybe it was a little different back then than it is now, but it just seems like it's like a real no man's land and a great place to get robbed.
I haven't been for years. I mean, I actually tell a lie. I was there promoting a film, and you know, I was there in the '80s, and it was very, very different back then. Yeah.
Well, wasn't it? I mean, I imagine with the government in control, it was probably almost safer back then than it is now. Or is that not true?
I thought it was creepier.
I would have thought it was more safer. With the
I would think it'd be
government
safer
having a
with
thing.
Brezhnev and all those dudes.
Yes.
I thought it was creepy.
Yeah, because the military, if the military is running everything, I think you're less likely to get fucking hit
Less
in the street.
mobsters, right? Less
now
less
it's
Russian mobsters.
big black
I would
market.
assume. I don't know. We've never been to Russia, so what
I
the
mean,
fuck do
we
we
was
know?
always safe. We was with like the British team, and we was hanging out with the, you know, you live a sheltered life when you know.
That's true.
You're not running around nightclubs like trying to, you know, drink champagne and all that when you've got to turn up and do, you know, back 3.5 somersaults the next morning, you know. So
so they respect that.
you can't really party that hard. I mean, the parties are in the hotels.
You smoke pot before you drove?
Huh?
You smoke pot before you... That's a yes, by the way.
Yeah, I can't hear your response.
Huh?
A lot. Hang on, I'm just using the bathroom.
So, after your diving career, did you have downtime before movies?
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was doing this, I was, you know, working in the streets. I used to sell perfume and jewelry. I was a fly pitcher. Yeah. So that was, it was like I got rid of the diving and I just kept continuing to do my only way that I knew how to earn money, which was on the street corners. So.
That's you were really that lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels is real shit. The little 3-car Monty.
Well, it's not the 3-car Monty.
What was that?
It's working a set of jewelry out of a case, and it, you know, basically you're
like the Africans out in New York.
and you know,
that's cool.
You're fly pitching.
Okay.
What's fly pitching?
It means it's pitching to a crowd, but you're on the fly, you know.
Oh, when the police.
Yeah, because you can't work in the street. One, it's an obstruction. 2, they want to see, you know.
Permit.
There ain't no permits to be able to work outside Harrods. You know, people are paying thousands of pounds rent for shops, and so why should you be able to come out and work in the street? So they had like designated marketplaces on a Sunday and different. That's like a market where you would pay rent money, but to fly pitch in the street, that's totally illegal.
That's probably great on the job, even though you don't need it as acting training. But that's probably great acting training.
Of course.
You really are. You know, you're just bullshitting people.
You're trying to sell yourself.
It's perfect for Hollywood.
Yeah. That's true.
In our neighborhood, there's guys that show up every once in a while with the suit racks. So it's suits and coats.
Yeah.
And they all of a sudden show up out of nowhere. Everyone's
$99.
swarmed.
$99.
You got one. Yes, I think.
I've seen it. They're like, yo, we got Armani, we got everything. We got Armani, we got Versace, $99.
I've seen them come around a few times, and I always stick around because it's amazing to watch. You got 2 guys working the rack, and then you got one lookout guy, and the whole thing goes down in less than 15
Then the
20
cops
minutes.
come and they go, yo.
I never saw the cops show up, though.
I've seen it.
But these guys, you could tell, are hustling, and they're trying to sell as quick as possible and get the fuck out of there. But they roll the racks right in.
Yeah.
Completely
What do
filled.
they do if a cop comes? Do you run with the stuff, or is there a car you throw it in?
You run with it. It's only out of a briefcase.
No, running with suits.
Oh, with fucking suits. Good luck carrying those.
This is on a rack that just rolls.
Yeah,
man.
they
roll it onto the corner.
They have
Everyone
a way
goes.
to do it. They have a way to do it.
They got a system.
Yeah. Sometimes
Pretty
they have
amazing.
a blanket. The African dudes sometimes have a blanket. And they have all these watches, stuff like that.
Well, they're pretty much leaving those guys alone.
Sometimes I've seen them just they just grab the blanket and toss it over their shoulder and fucking run. It's amazing.
How cheap are those watches?
The set I used to work it for a tenner. I used to do 4 different chains: a rope chain, 24-inch, matching 18, the little bracelet. I used to do like a Figaro chain and bracelet with like 2 or 3 different types of pendant, depending on what was in stock. And then I give them a choice of a gents or ladies ring as a little throw on, you know.
So how would you sell something like you'd have like a watch, and you see a guy walking by, and would you just go, "Sir, come here"? Because I never stop for people.
No, you don't single people out.
You know,
you pull a pitch. You just talk about how you're going to give, reduce things, and how you're going to give them a bargain, and how you're going to, it makes sense to. it's basically you're pulling the pitch. There's like a stage where you pull the pitch, basically get people's attention. You create a crowd, and before you start any of the sale.
Joe Rogan with Bryan Callen.
Was really like ill-advised. It was ill-advised, arrogant. It's a very complicated issue, and the way she's approaching it. So we can talk about other things. Sincerely, Melissa. Hey, listen, Melissa, this thing that you don't want to talk about might be one of the most significant events in human history. You know why? Because we realize that there's no such thing as privacy. I don't know if that's sunk in with everybody yet, but it really is very close. I mean, right now it's in the government's hands, and that will eventually trickle down to the people's hands.
I think it's a huge problem. I think the fact that I'm always being watched by a video camera somewhere is
video
a huge
cameras
problem.
are one thing, but
monitoring my emails. You guys don't tell me that you're doing that. You don't need a warrant for
don't
that
need
kind
anything.
Of stuff? Nah,
it's insane.
That's not right.
It doesn't make any sense.
And by the way, everybody, sorry to say by the way again, but remember that every dictatorship, every single oppressive government in history has always used national security as an excuse to take your freedoms away. That's always the excuse, isn't it? Look at history.
No, it is. It's always the excuse.
Well, it's a dangerous world, and we're here to protect you. Nah, no thanks. Don't trust you.
What's a classic thing to do to actually pump up an enemy to get them to become a threat so that you can go and attack them?
That's
so you
right.
have reason to keep the war machine going.
That's right.
Yeah, and you know what, man? That's what happens when you get people that make money off of war. And that's why there's supposed to be a bunch of laws in place to keep that from happening. You know, that's why Eisenhower got on television and warned about the dangers of the military-industrial complex when he was leaving office. All of that exists because it's just like what corporations do to other countries. You know, if you're a good person, you wouldn't go to Venezuela and steal their oil and pollute their rivers. You wouldn't do it, okay? You wouldn't do it because you would see the people cry and see people starve to death and see the fish die, and you would go, wow, what I'm doing is fucked up. But if you're some evil chemical company and the way to make money is to do that, and you have stockholders and you have all these people that are putting pressure on you.
Yeah, that doesn't answer the equation
in
as much.
One of those leather chairs that has those rivets, those brass rivets like dug deep into it, like in a million different places, those puffy leather chairs where they always have like some brandy on a shelf, you know, with some glasses and a tub of ice that they clink, clink as they're pouring a drink. Listen, we have a bottom line. And I'm not going to Ecuador. Are you going to Ecuador? So fuck the river. Fuck that river. Let's get that money. And they just somehow or another, even if it's not the decision made in that sort of a fashion, an X amount of people, whether it's 4,000 or 400, how many people are in that corporation, decide to act as an evil unit and decide to do some fucked up shit to make that money.
Or ignore an inconvenient truth.
Sure. And then if they can do that, they can also, those same principles of action apply. That's how war happens in the first place. You can get a giant army of people to behave like psychos, as long as the people around them are also behaving like psychos.
That's right.
It just becomes your new reality.
People go to war. That's if you look at how people are motivated to go to war. A lot of times they are motivated around symbols, around slogans, around different kinds of propaganda. That's always been the case. That's been the case since the Trojan War.
Yeah, and it's a characteristics of human beings that you have to. If you're looking at human beings as a set of ingredients, what is this thing like? Okay, say if you have a car, you have a Mercedes Benz. It's a 1996. How many horsepower does it have? What's it capable of doing? You know, how quickly can it stop from 0 to 60? What are the possibilities of this unit? Well, human beings are just like a car in that sense. Like, we have a lot of possibilities as far as documented behavior that's completely outside the norm. It's a giant spectrum from killing babies to helping old people across the street and planting flowers everywhere.
We're a bipolar ape.
Well, there's just so much going on inside the possibility drawer. If you open up the possibility drawer of human beings, like, whoo, you better sit down, because this motherfucker's capable of a lot of different stuff. Of shit.
Incredible cruelty, incredible kindness, and everything in between.
Yeah, so when you lump them all together without personal accountability, you're going to open up the potential for all this craziness, all the worst aspects of human beings when they don't have a direct action, reaction, input from the people that they're affecting.
When there's no accountability,
It's mathematical.
when you can hide behind a huge institution.
It is, and it's almost not even about hiding behind it. It's almost not even about not having any accountability. It's a matter of not feeling it. Whatever you're doing, you're not feeling. This is one of the reasons why people can go fuck you to someone in their car. You can drive and go fuck you. But if it was on the street and that guy was that close to you, you wouldn't say fuck you to him. No. You wouldn't stick your finger at him. You would have to be crazy.
Yeah, because you've got to respond to that person in front of you.
You're interacting with them.
Malcolm Gladwell did that amazing study about how the murder rate went up when they had the ghettos, and after they built those huge projects, all of a sudden you didn't live next to the guy. The guy lived in a unit above you, and there was anonymity created. So you could shoot somebody for their shoes because you didn't know them. You didn't know somebody who was connected to them. You didn't know the fabric that they came from. It used to be when those, like in the Bronx, when all those communities came up, they came up around a barter system, around an economic system that kind of happened organically. When they put the Cross Bronx Expressway in there and they tore everything down, and they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to plan the Bronx on a board. And they planned on a board, and they had these they created these big projects. Let's just put them all in these big buildings. All of a sudden, the murder rate went up. And one of the theories is the fact that you suddenly now, because even if you were in a ghetto, you knew that kid's grandmother, you knew that kid's brother. There was always, everybody was connected.
Right.
You all knew each other. The minute you put people in those buildings, now they're living in boxes, and he's living on the 5th floor, you're living on the 1st floor, whatever, and you don't have an interaction. There was the economic fabric of that community was destroyed. So it became much easier to shoot somebody you didn't know.
And they're in your close proximity. You don't have a relationship with them, and they're right on top of you. Which is very unnatural for humans.
And this is where I always say that, if you think you can walk around and being ignorant in today's world, you're wrong about that. Political commitment is important, and knowing why you believe something. And this is a classic example, in my opinion, of a threat that is very insidious. It's not obvious right now. It may not be obvious, but that's why the Snowden case is very important. It's important to at least, you don't have to have an opinion. Just familiarize yourself with how these things happen. History repeats itself. Know that your freedom can be taken away from you in 2013. It is being taken away in this country.
And and there was hey, listen, no one's doing anything to my freedom. Just relax.
Right.
Stop getting crazy.
Right.
Instead of looking at it in any way that connects you to it personally, whether you're defending it or whether you're violently opposed to it, look at it as a trend. As a human trend, and then it becomes fascinating, because if you take yourself outside of it and you go, instead of going, we have to stop this corrupt government, just look at, step back and look at what's happening. Like, ooh, what is this? Ooh, what is this? What is this? This is a strange little thing happening here. There's a convergence.
Well, why are there cameras
human
everywhere?
convergence.
I know cameras solve crimes. I know cameras do a lot of good. But we have to ask ourselves the question.
Camera? You keep bringing up the cameras.
Well, but they're everywhere. I'm not. And by the way, I feel safer sometimes because they're there. And I'm sure it has a positive effect. But to what degree are we talking about? What is the trade-off? And who is saying enough is enough? Where is the check and balance? That's what I want to know.
It doesn't exist.
Okay, well, that's a problem.
Not only does it not exist, it can exist if you follow the pattern of human behavior. It's like when rich people got cell phones. Do you remember that? It was a long-ass time ago, 1980s and 90s. Only rich people had phones, and you would occasionally see a phone, and it was like a cool thing. I remember this comic looked into, Jackie Flynn?
Yeah.
Funny guy.
I love Jackie.
Jackie, he's always had like a couple bucks. His family's successful business, and he was always a part of that. And he had a real nice car. He had a Toyota Supra. And another comic looked in the window and he said, "Oh, I love the way that phone looks," because he had a phone in his car. It was like 1989 or something like that. Nobody had a phone in their
Jackie.
car.
Let's play the mean game of golf too. I heard.
Yeah. He's got this phone in his car, and it was like, whoa, only rich people can have phones in their cars. Now everybody has a fucking phone in their pocket that they carry around with them everywhere. Eventually, it got so far. I was in Brazil, and I saw these people in this very poor neighborhood, and they all had phones. They were on their phones. They were talking on phones. It's like it's become so worldwide and world spread. And right now, information is freely accessible only to the people in the highest points of government. Right now, it's only the people in the NSA, the people that have made these shady inside deals with internet providers and have gotten access to phone calls and records and text messages and shit. It's only them. But that's just a trend. It's going to start with them, and then the technology is slowly but surely going to be available to everybody.
That might be a good thing, right?
It might be a good thing, but it's going to be a different thing. And here's a problem. Money. Because money right now is just ones and zeros. Money right now is just confidence. It's just information. It doesn't exist anymore. There's no you can have $1 million.
Physical,
exactly. It's not like gold. It's not like you have a stack of gold. Like you have $1 million. So if you go to that bank, those million notes, you can turn them in. They'll give you a million, X amount of pounds of gold that equals $1 million. It doesn't exist anymore. So if it doesn't exist, what is it made out of? Well, it's made out of ones and zeros. It's all it is. It's made out of confidence and ones and zeros. And the rest of it is just woven into this complicated system that's called our financial structure. But if you looked at that objectively, you go, well, yeah, we have a very complicated system. There's no need to worry. You stop and you go, what are you talking about? You have a bunch of computers and ones and zeros. You don't have a real money. You don't have a real substance. So my point is that I have a theory that as information becomes more and more freely distributed, it's gonna happen. It's gonna get to a point where there's no boundaries. There's no boundaries between thoughts. Everyone's going to be able to read each other's minds. You're all going to be able to communicate through Wi-Fi. And you're all going to know everything that everybody else knows. You're not just going to know what you tell me. I'm going to know what's going on in your mind. I'm going to know what you can remember.
Like a central neural net.
Yeah. And we're going to be able to create artificial recording of memories that's far more accurate than the shitty memories we carry around in our brain. And when that happens, you're going to have access to mine and I'm going to have access to yours. And it's going to be a requirement eventually that everybody has some sort of a neural recorder because people are going to want to know what you're doing. They're going to want to have full access to your thoughts and ideas. We're going to be able to solve all the crimes instantly. That's going to be the answer to it. They're going to say there's going to be 100% accountability. No one will ever get away with a crime again because we're all going to know exactly what everybody does when they do it. So we're all going to sign up for it.
What's that say about privacy?
There's going to be none. But my point is, money's going to go that way too. There's going to be no money anymore. It's going to reach a point where it's just resources, and it's just there has to be some sort of a fair system as far as the distribution of resources. But the idea that you're going to keep them in a bank and get them out with a card, good fucking luck. Right. There's ones and zeros, man. It doesn't mean it's not going to mean anything when everyone can get access to it.
They have they've already figured out a way. They're on the preliminary stages where they can map. I guess they show you an image, and then they look at your brain activity when you see that image, and then when they show you the image again, the brain activity it shows up on the same kind of pattern. So you recognize something, and they can tell. So what the idea is that if you robbed a bank or you were a criminal and you were in a certain place, and they give you
Steven Spielberg.
Or his movies. I have doubts about myself. In both worlds.
Thinking that you can't pull it off?
Yeah. Every movie I make, and every movie I start, I don't think I can pull it off.
When you go onto a set in the morning for a movie, you nervous?
Yeah, every morning. Yeah. It's the same feeling I get going to work every morning as the feeling I got going to school every day. Being a bit of an outsider and not being normal and not quite getting good grades and not being able to compete, and my tummy is spilkus, my mom would call it. I'd have before school every day, and I feel that when I make movies too.
But you're better at this than you were in school.
Oh, damn straight.
He may be nervous on the set, but Spielberg's become so important in Hollywood that Lew Wasserman, the chairman of MCA Universal, built this sprawling office complex for him right on the back lot. The $4 million project, which serves as creative home to all of those people who work with Spielberg, was an effort to ensure that Universal would get first dibs on the pictures they turn out. Now, Universal did that for you. You didn't have to put that out.
Not a cent. They built the whole thing for me. And as Lew Wasserman said, when I guiltily turned to him and I said, gee, Lew, this is a big deal. How much is this going to cost? He said, don't worry, it's what E.T. made in Uruguay. So you want to try that?
Although he's a shrewd businessman, everyone who knows Spielberg says he's still very much like a precocious kid.
There you go.
Even his office is filled with toys, although they're, for the most part, adult toys.
This is the kind of place where potentially we could get no work done.
This grown-up kid has no hesitation telling you he's having more fun now than when he was growing up.
Well, I would have probably hesitated if I had like a couple good years. Then I would have said, well, there was the 4th and 5th grade. No.
What about your popularity? Were you a popular kid?
No. I was, you know, the last kid to be chosen for the softball team, the last kid to be chosen for the touch football team, the last kid to be chosen for basically everything, including badminton. You know?
And then something happened that changed his life.
We bought him a little movie camera, and he just started off. But we didn't know he was Steven Spielberg. I mean, this is my little blonde kid with the ears and little bangs.
Leah Adler is Spielberg's mother. When he was growing up, she encouraged his creativity and was often his cohort.
I mean, he'd want to do something harebrained, like go out in the desert and make a movie.
How old?
Oh, 8. I drove an Army Jeep. We lived in Arizona. And I had a pith helmet and a fatigue outfit. And he'd say, let's go. And I'd keep him home from school. And I used to lie. I wrote marvelous notes. I'm very creative. I could always think of a new ailment to keep my kid home from school.
So he could make a movie?
And we'd go out in the desert. And I just had a ball with him.
Hello.
Today, Spielberg is revered here at Universal Studios, and although he makes movies for other studios as well, if you take the tour of the back lot, the biggest attractions are from Spielberg movies.
There's the shark right there. There's Jaws. Now, why the shark works so well here every day, and I couldn't get the damn thing working for 2 months in Martha's Vineyard in '74, I'll never know. The shark was scheduled to make many more appearances according to the script, and when the shark wasn't ready, or when we tested it and it sunk, what we did was I just decided to shoot without the shark, and in a way I think it increased the, it torqued up the suspense of the movie because you really didn't know where it was going to come from next, and rather than not seeing the shark every scene, instead I just played a lot of the fear from people in water, seeing their legs kicking, a point of view of the camera moving, or just seeing the surface of the water with nothing below. That's what I think turned the movie into a more of an exercise in suspense than just a horror film.
So if you had had the shark when you wanted it, you probably would have had a different movie.
I probably would have had a movie that wouldn't have been as successful, I think, yeah.
Spielberg's success goes beyond his movies. He helped design the E.T. ride, which has become the biggest attraction on the Universal Tour.
You get a little bit of sauna when you go through this also. It's good for the skin.
If you've got some imagination, for those few minutes, you might even think you're on a bike taking E.T. back home.
That's my favorite guy right there. That's the guy, yeah.
C.E.D. Although E.T. was nominated for 9 Oscars and actually won 4, Spielberg didn't win for Best Director. Does it bother you that you've never won an Oscar as Best Director?
Well, it's not that it doesn't bother me. No, honestly, I'm not bothered that I haven't won an Oscar because, you know, frankly, there's still time, perhaps someday, to win one. Maybe the only time I've really felt injured was when I made The Color Purple. We were nominated something like 12 times in every category, and the only category the film wasn't nominated in was the category for directing. And that was maybe the one time that I thought that somebody up there doesn't like me. That what have I done?
Some of your critics have blamed you for contributing to the escalating cost. They say they now have to keep aiming for Spielberg-sized hits. Medium hits won't do. Valid?
Well, not really. I mean, it's not my cross to bear, you know, because I can only make my movies, and little movies, big movies, whatever kind of movies I make, and I am not responsible for their, you know, for the acceptance of those films or what happens after those films are released. I mean, everybody goes for a home run if they think they've got a shot at it.
Let me get you to react to something that one of your peers said, another director. Steven Spielberg can't be compared with people like Mike Nichols or Barry Levinson. There is a place for mass entertainment, but it shouldn't be confused with art or quality award-winning filmmaking.
Sometimes I think that statements like that are pretentious in themselves because it sort of says that, you know, art is serious and art can't can't move you. Art can't be on a bicycle with E.T. and fly across the moon. That can't be art, you know, that because it takes your heart along with it through the sky, and it makes you feel like a kid again. The average movie today is $25 million, the average film. I believe about 6 years ago it was $15 million. I mean the multiplication table of what films are going to cost 10 years from now is going to mean that Hollywood will be out of control in that they won't be able to give audiences grand entertainment anymore. And instead, you're going to just have to settle for films that are a little low in calories. And there's nothing wrong with that, too, because maybe it'll bring back Tracy and Hepburn. Maybe it'll bring back writers like, you know, Ruth Gordon and Garson Kanin. I mean, maybe it'll be a revolution, and the films will be smaller but much more provocative.
Can you do that kind of movie?
Yes, I can, if I find the right script and story, absolutely. But I'll miss the big show.
Thank you, folks, for listening. Tune in next week for more podcasts of all podcasts. Dethklok, Dethharmonic.
Thank you.